This video is on how to record business transactions in a general journal or preparing journal entries. Preparing journal entries takes off from the previous debit-credit rules discussion that was already described on a previous video. In this example, we're going to describe how we write down what happened in the business. So, first of all, what is a journal? A journal is just where we prepare or record the journal entries. Here is the standard format for all journal entries. We write the date in the date column, and then we're going to have to analyze the transactions using the debit-credit rules, and then we find out which account name we are going to debit, and we record that on the first line. The first line is always for the debit. And then obviously that the debit amount is going to go in the debit dollar amount column. So here's the debit account name, the account that we're going to debit, determined through the debit credit rules, and here's where we record the amount that we're going to debit that account by. Next, we record the credits. The credits always go after the debits, and we indent them so that we can distinguish them more easily. So again, according to the debit credit rules, you decide which account you're going to need to credit, and you record the credit dollar amount in the credit dollar amount column. You have to have equal debits and credits. And if you have equal debits and credits, your accounting equation will always be in balance. The last thing that is required for journal entries is a journal entry explanation. It goes after the debit and credit accounts have been recorded, and it's just a brief description of what happened in that business transaction, as I will show in the next example. So let me show you how to record a journal entry. Let's say on December 1st of 2020, the owner invested $15,000 cash in the business. We would then go to our debit credit rules and we would say, did the business acquire an asset? We will go to our analyzing transactions sheet first, and we will say, did the business just acquire an asset? Yes, the business just acquired cash. Then we would go to the debit credit rules and we would say, okay, cash is an asset. Assets are debit balance accounts or debit accounts, and they increase with a debit. So in this case, I'm putting the word cash, which is the account name, on the first line, which is the debit line, and I'm putting $15,000 in the debit dollar amount column. I have just put this little plus on the end of the cash just to remind us that a debit increases cash. Then I also need to analyze the other side of the transaction. How did the business acquire the asset? In this example, under analyzing transactions, we know that the owner invested the asset of cash, so owner investments are increases to the capital account. So again, we would then go from our analyzing transactions chart over to our debit credit playbook, and we would say, oh, the owner investments are equity capital accounts increase with credits. So again, I'm going to write the word capital, which is the account name, on the credit line, and it's being credited for the $15,000 again. And again, I just put those little pluses there to help you as you're starting to learn your debit credit rules. And then the the journal entry explanation would be the owner invested cash. All right. Just like these first three lines that were all highlighted in yellow, that is one journal entry. Now, here is my complete journal entry, the debits and credits equal, and we've analyzed the transaction and put it into our debit credit rules, and then put it into journal entry format. Then we would move on to the next transaction. For example, let's say the next business transaction happened on December 2nd. Once again, then we would follow this same policy, analyze the transaction, put it into debit and credit rules, and then record it in the journal. The general journal is where we prepare the journal entries. This is a brief discussion on preparing journal entries. Now let's go have some more practice doing it.